to plan ahead, right? So why don't we look at the biggest Xbox games that are set to arrive in 2025? And we'll kick it off with possibly one of the most anticipated games ever. The reveal trailer for GTA 6 racked up a record-breaking 93 million views in its first 24 hours, so safe to say that people are just a little bit excited for this one, which does make sense. I mean, it's the latest entry in one of gaming's most iconic series, and that's before we even mention that this is the first time a GTA game was released in over a decade. And already there's been little bits of info that we've gotten so far that have just made us more excited, especially the fact that the sixth game is going to be taking us to the state of Leonida, hopefully I'm saying that right, where a little spot known as Vice City just happens to be located. It's also going to give the series its first female protagonist with a loved-up criminal named Luthia, so there's a whole lot to be excited about here already, and we still know basically nothing about the game. So be sure to subscribe and ring the bell if you want to hear all of the latest GTA 6 news once you've watched the trailer a couple more times. Obviously, it looks so good, at least in my opinion, but what do you guys think? Is GTA 6 your most anticipated game for 2025, or does something else take the top spot? Hit the comments and let me know. Now, when the Doom guy threatens to get medieval on you, you should be afraid. Very afraid. And that is exactly what is going to be happening in Doom: The Dark Ages. And this is a prequel to 2016's Doom that is going to show us how the Doom Slayer became the hero we know and love as he fights his way through the forces of hell. The game's vibe is a bit more dark fantasy than the sci-fi stylings that we're used to from Doom, and that seems to be opening up some pretty exciting possibilities. I mean, look, we're getting a razor-edged shield and a gun that chews up skulls and then spits out the bone fragments. It's gross and amazing at the same time. Doom: The Dark Ages is going to be coming day one to Game Pass next year, and in the meantime, members can use the series to make sure that their demon-slaying skills are up to scratch. Having more or less invented 4X strategy games, Sid Meier's Civilization has real historical importance and is going to be ushering in a new era next year with Civilization 7. And yes, once again, players will get to take their civilization of choice from sticks and stones to rocket ships as they build architectural wonders, discover new technologies, and just decide whether to deal with your neighbors diplomatically or undiplomatically. We don't know much about it yet, but Meyer himself has promised that Civ 7 is going to represent the culmination of 3 decades of strategy, innovation, and refinement. So yeah, it's good enough for me. Since the third game came out back in 2010, the Fable series has been something of a sleeping giant. Sleeping Richard Ayoade-shaped giant. But that's all going to change next year when the new game comes straight to Game Pass. From all the little glimpses of the rebooted Fable that we've had so far, it looks set to bring back everything we loved about the previous games. You know, things like combat that blends magic with medieval weapons, a cheeky sense of humour, a colourful fantasy world filled with strange sights, curious characters, and beloved British thespians. And thanks to the wonders of backwards compatibility, you can ease the wait for the new game by just replaying the classic trilogy, all of which is available now on Game Pass, by the way, so get cracking. Then we also get Monster Hunter Wilds to talk about, and that's going to be taking players to this unforgiving, dynamic new world. And wouldn't you know it, the place is just crawling with monsters. Promising more evolved action and greater immersion than ever before, Wilds is once again going to see players chopping up monsters and using their parts to craft gear with which they can then chop up even bigger monsters. You know, Circle of Life vibes. As a little tip to you guys, it's well worth playing Monster Hunter World and Monster Hunter Rise right now because there's going to be bonus content for Monster Hunter Wilds on offer for players that have save data in both those games, and that should take care of all of your beastie battering urges until Wilds gets here in 2025. When this one was unveiled at the 2023 showcase, this game immediately leapt out as one of the most distinctive, creative, and just straight up coolest games on the horizon. It's South of Midnight, and it's a southern gothic fairy tale with a gorgeous bluesy soundtrack. This third-person adventure game is going to star a young woman named Hazel as she embarks on a quest that's going to turn up all kinds of dark family secrets and hidden truths, but also the occasional giant alligator. I find so much about this game really exciting. I mean, from the music to the magically infused combat system, South of Midnight just looks like something truly, truly unique, and it's going to be coming straight to Game Pass next year. Little Nightmares is also going to be back with another creepy puzzle platforming adventure, which sees a pair of little fellas named Low and Alone trying to make it through a world full of fear and danger. And the new worlds that we're going to be exploring look a lot brighter than the past game's shadowy spaces, but do you know what? I'm afraid they still look every bit as terrifying. secretly, I'm quite pleased about that. But what I really love about this game is that you're going to be able to tag in a buddy this time around in multiplayer, although the developers have specifically limited this to online only to make sure that you're actually alone while they scare the life out of you. Yeah, psychopaths. I mean, I guess I could play it with like console streaming so that I'm not actually alone. I'll figure it out later. So the studio behind Sniper Elite and Zombie Army are going to be bringing their head-popping talents straight to Game Pass next year with a brand new game, and it's a brand new IP as well. Really exciting. Atomfall is a survival action game, and it's set in the rolling green hills of the British countryside. But it's not all Yorkshire puddings and sunshine though, like we're used to. It's actually a nuclear disaster that has ravaged the land and left everyone scrambling to survive. So, if you don't want to end up on the business end of a midsummer murder or a cricket bat, you better be ready to scavenge, scrap, and craft your little heart out, me old mucker. Fragpunk's this 5v5 hero shooter that is reshuffling the rules of the genre with a clever card-based power-up system. There are going to be over 70 different cards that you can take advantage of. Some let you jump higher, others coat your bullets in fire or lightning. They all ensure though that the battle is constantly evolving. Add in the fact that each hero has their own distinctive skill set, plus a variety of different weapons to pick from, and you've got the recipe for that sort of fast, chaotic firefight where you just never know what's going to happen next. Honestly, the day one editions that they've got lined up for Game Pass next year are absolutely class, and Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is yet another one of them, and this one looks really intriguing. It goes down in this Belle Epoque inspired fantasy world. It's a bit like the one from Lies of P, if you played that one on Game Pass recently, where each year an evil painter scrawls a cursed number which causes everyone that age to immediately die. It's a bit like Death Note, I suppose, but it's more paint by numbers. This is a brilliantly bonkers premise that is backed up by a really cool combat system that combines turn-based battling with real-time action, and it also features some truly stunning visuals. Painterly, even. Also next year, Xbox gamers are going to get to live out everyone's childhood fantasy of hopping inside a giant mech and brawling with your mates in Mecha Break. And these mechs look highly customizable too, which allows players to just pick every individual part and personalize every last detail as you just build the war machine that is right for you. From laser swords to missile launchers, there's a vast arsenal of weapons to choose from. And once you've made your choices and applied those finishing touches, it's time to jump into a 60-player rumble for a good old-fashioned, no-holds-barred robot war. And robot wars are sick. The developers of the psychedelic adventure The Artful Escape are going to be trying to nail that tricky second album next year with their new game Mixtape. Music's going to be at the heart of this one as well, because it's a trio of friends who find themselves transported back into some of their core memories as they ride off to their final party together. And as they reminisce, you'll get to do some skateboarding, play a little baseball, put on a fireworks show, and just generally go wherever there are teenage kicks to be found. And the soundtrack looks so good. It features Joy Division, Smashing Pumpkins, Iggy Pop, and so much more. Mixtape's just going to be one of those games that resonates especially well with gamers of a certain age, and I would not change a single thing about that. Fancy another day one Game Pass one? Alright, let's talk about Wu Chang Fallen Feathers. This one takes us to the land of Shu during the late Ming Dynasty, and it's a pretty hairy period even before the mystical plague appeared and horrifying monsters started sprouting up everywhere, and I do mean everywhere. This is a Souls-like action RPG where you're going to be playing as an amnesiac pirate warrior on a mission to figure out who she is and what the hell is going on. To do so, you're going to need to hone your skills, unlock new abilities, and face down a horde of frightening foes. Wu Chang Fallen Feathers promises a rich storyline with several possible endings, love that for replayability, but we at least know how it's all going to begin, and that's day one on Game Pass. Lots and lots of games that are coming out next year, and I mean, there's probably more yet to be announced. If you want to hear about those, make sure that you subscribe, ring the bell. It's going to be a great year next year to be an Xbox gamer. I can't wait. See you soon. Bye.